2. How we doing, family? It's your boy, Yo! And this is another episode of YoHoops. I go through every NBA game every day. Today's Saturday, March 7th, and we have a 6-game NBA card. I'm going to walk you through my thoughts and let you know the sides I like, so please leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and let me know your favorite game in the comment section below. Without further ado, let me get into today's games. Recap yesterday, we got right back in that win column with another winning day. Nothing to write home about, but I went 4-3 on the 7-game card. The way people were talking in my comments, you would have thought I got swept, but hey, I know the ups and downs of this sports betting game. I'm now 24-20 in the month of March. Let's start building some real momentum tonight. In our first matchup of the afternoon, we have the Orlando Magic in Minnesota taking on Minnesota Timberwolves. Wolves are minus 260 on the money line, and the total is 225. In my opinion, Franz Wagner is the best player on the Magic, so without him, I don't tend to bet with them often. They're currently the 3rd worst team in the league against the spread this season. The Wolves come into this one at full strength, but I have an even bigger issue laying these extended numbers with the Wolves at home. They're now just 14-19 against the spread in Minnesota. I can't say I see a huge edge either way, but to me, this feels like a perfect letdown spot with the Wolves coming into it on a 5-game win streak. The public thinks Minnesota is going to keep the momentum rolling, but they stay failing to cover at home, and the books set the line this short for a reason. I'll lean to the Magic plus the 7 as my first selection of the afternoon. In our next matchup, we have the Brooklyn Nets in Detroit taking on the Detroit Pistons. Pistons are minus 1,000 on the money line, and the total is 215.5. It looks like the Pistons come into this one with a few key injuries. Oscar Thompson is ruled out, Cade Cunningham is listed as questionable, then Jalen Duren is listed as probable. Based on the line movement, I think there's a good chance Cade sits, and in that case, I'm looking at the total. This season, the Nets have the worst offense in the entire league, averaging just 107 points per game. The Pistons rank 10th at 117, but if you remove Cade, I would have them as a bottom 10 offense. He's averaging 25-10. I can't count on Dennis Jenkins to run my offense. I think we see enough missed shots to stay under this total. I'm taking the Nets and Pistons under 215.5 as my next selection of the evening. In our next matchup, we have the Philadelphia 76ers in Atlanta taking on Atlanta Hawks. Hawks are minus 275 on the money line, and the total is 233. At first glance, I was surprised to see the Hawks as this big of favorites, but they have been playing well, and it looks like Philly will be without VJ Edgecombe tonight. Tyrese Maxey is one of my favorite point guards in the league, but I don't know if I can trust Kelly Oubre and Dominic Barlow to keep me competitive in Atlanta. When I look through the Sixers lineup, the main thing that stands out to me is the lack of defenders, so personally, I'm isolating this one to the Hawks team total. Even if Philly competes, the Hawks should still be scoring. In their last 3 games, they scored 131, 135, then 126 back-to-back. I would say this is the lightest defensive assignment they've had in at least their last couple games. I'm taking the Hawks over 119.5 as my next selection of the evening. In our next matchup, we have the LA Clippers in Memphis taking on Memphis Grizzlies. Clippers are minus 250 on the money line, and the total is 228.5. The Clippers come into this one on the second leg of a back-to-back, flying from San Antonio to Memphis. I know you guys saw the call out last night. Not many people were on the Clippers plus the points. That was impressive, but now on no rest in Memphis, this is a tall order. The Grizzlies are of course playing through a handful of injuries, but that's nothing new, and we've seen them compete at home all season. We know Kawhi Leonard isn't a guy that's built for back-to-backs, and the rest of their lineup isn't exactly stacked with talent. I think the line is set this short for a reason. I'm taking the Grizzlies plus the 6.5 as my next selection of the evening. In our next matchup, we have the Utah Jazz in Milwaukee taking on Milwaukee Bucks. Bucks are minus 435 on the money line, and the total is 234. I get that Giannis is back in the lineup, but I can't wrap my mind around laying 10 points with a team that's 13-17 against the spread at home. I get that the Jazz are banged up, but their bench has competed, at least in spots. I'd lean towards the Jazz in terms of a side, but rather than taking a side, I'm looking at a prop. There must be a reason why Milwaukee's favored like this, and I don't think it's entirely because of Giannis, especially considering he's on a minutes restriction. Kevin Porter Jr. is ruled out, so the guy I see stepping up in a spot like this is Ryan Rollins. He's averaging 17 points on the season, but he hasn't cleared that average in 4 straight games. Keontae doesn't play a ton of defense, so it should be open season for Ryan to get buckets at will. I'm taking Ryan Rollins to go over 17.5 points. Let's move. In our next matchup, we have the Golden State Warriors in OKC taking on Oklahoma City Thunder. Thunder minus 900 on the money line, and the total is 218.5. From a betting perspective, this is one of my favorite games on the board. The last time we saw these two teams play was on January 2nd in Golden State, and the Thunder won that game 131-94, a 37-point blowout. Steph Curry didn't play in that game, but we're seeing the exact same situation tonight. With SGA and Chet playing, I don't see how the Warriors' second unit competes. I'm taking the Thunder laying the 14.5 as my last and final selection. And that's going to conclude today's video. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. Another winning month in the works. We just got to keep the momentum rolling. I appreciate the support so much. I do this every day for free, so please leave a like and subscribe to the channel. It's your boy, Yo! And until the next one, I'ma catch y'all. Peace.